Hello there. This is Three of Spades, and today I got another devlog. Devlog 11 this time. And just want to make sure that shit's not doing anything else. Okay, good. We're good. But yeah, I got devlog 11 this time, and it has been a minute, but I have got two brand spanking new maps for you, and I'm going to show them off. So, here we go. First one is an underwater golf course. And the second one is actually a little remake of the first map from the first game, the radar array. I figured it would be pretty good to revisit a few of the levels. It would also definitely help get the number of maps up. Let me just, real quick. Yep, turn that shit off. Now then, I'm going to show you the frame rate in real time here. There we go. So this is on a GTX Titan XP and like an AMD FX CPU from about 2012. So the idea is that I'm making this game for like relatively older computers. But yeah, this here is the first time I'm showing off the golf course here on the YouTube channel. So it's a golf course with a big castle, and there's a sideways hiking trail with two bridges. And yes, as you can see, it's also underwater. If you look up, there's massive waves with normal map reflections. And there's a bunch of fog. Other goodies. You're still playing as red versus blue throughout. That's going to be the default, and it'll change depending upon the map. But in here I've also added M4A1 with a scope and a silencer and a grip. There's also the bullet magnet, which I've added in here. There's a big coral reef under there where there once was a river. I don't really care if that scientifically works out. It's a video game. But anyway, we get the bullet magnet here, and it's not something I programmed, but I keep noticing that every time I pick up this gun, I get shot way more. Thus its name, the bullet magnet. It's like a cursed gun. But this one's got 300 ammo, but you're slow as fuck. And there's only like 6 of them over there at the hiking trail. So yeah, first come, first served. But up here we got another golf course. The golf flags are American flags, which, as you can see, do actually have physics and they wave in the wind. Although if you shoot them, they don't do anything. But they're animated to actually kind of wave in the wave around in the waves, I guess, not the wind. But yeah, we got a big skybox, bunch of buildings, bunch of trash on the road. The roads look fucked up and destroyed. And I imagine they would be underwater, but, you know, I figure, hey, fuck it. You know, how many shooter games that let you play as an army or something actually have maps where you're underwater, and they don't treat it as if water is just going to kill everybody by default? It's a video game, for fuck's sake. Let me do some crazy shit like this, right? But yeah, you can go in the castle. There's a bunch of dudes, of course, but there's also a big golf course, health packs, some ammo crates and other goodies scattered across the map. A lot of guns. In this map especially, M4s. Silenced M4s with scopes. And also, if you go over here, there's it's a bastard trying to shoot me in the ass. But there's an Easter egg down there, and there's pineapple under the sea. I don't know if there's a sponge who lives there, but if there is, he's definitely absorbent, yellow, and porous. But anyway, yeah, this here's the golf course map. I figured I'd show it off. There's a bunch of trucks and other good shit. There's also parking lot. And yeah, it's a pretty simple map, but I figured it'd be pretty cool. Have like a map or two, or maybe like, I don't know, could probably end up doing like 10 of these that are underwater, what with like different variants and stuff. But that's not a promise, that's just an idea. So if I don't do 10 underwater maps, don't get pissed at me. That I'll do it for that one at least. You can see there's other doors and entryways just to kind of keep the illusion of this being a, semi-real place, if you will, at one point. Flooded buildings, some of which even going above the waves. Other cool shit like that. And this does also have some significance throughout the story, but no spoilers on that. That's still gonna keep real hush-hush on that shit. But you'll definitely know when you see it. So, I'm gonna head over to the radar array, which is the next map. And yeah, as you can see, like, some of the guns that I made on 4th of July, they're gonna be in these maps. And once I get... my plan is kind of really early on, so don't quote me if this doesn't end up working out. But my plan is once I get about 10, maybe 15 maps, I'll release a demo and then work from there. But how long that takes, I don't yet know. Though thankfully Unreal Engine has proven to be pretty good. I'm really happy with that by comparison to Game Guru, where I had nothing but issues. So let me have stat FPS here, and I'll show you the frame rate we're getting. I also found that these guys would often get stuck on these trucks. So what I did in order to solve that was put a blocking volume around it, and they would be able to get around them no problem, or at least with less of a problem. They go around and they search the area and other things like that, but it's pretty cool. So, we got guns in here. We got the man array. This is going to be a really good sniping map. So if you want to challenge someone to a duel in Rogue Planet, you definitely can. This would be the map to do it. Big ass sight lines and a few snipers just littered throughout the map. You can go in here. This is where all the clubs are. This is the club. But yeah, what happened in the original game with the maps was they were really, really fucking chopped down. Like, imagine this shit was part of a massive open world, and I just kind of had... I had too much ambition back then, but I didn't keep into reality too much, so eventually shit just got chopped way, way the fuck down until it was like a simple single-player linear game, and that's what I think I'm just going to do again, because it ended up being a really successful thing, but this is what the actual radar array looked like without the hallucinations of Marcus filtering it through. As you can see, the reason why the two sides are fighting is this radar tower dropped and caused a chain reaction that destroyed that little Ren fair over there. And yes, the dumpsters are there and all that other stuff. And basically, a bunch of terrorists went over here to the radar array, got pissed and started destroying shit, and the cops came. And that's a little environmental storytelling, but also, as you can see out there, is the flooded city. There's a lot of shit out there. There are those buildings. There's the trees, and the park is below the water. Or at least it theoretically would be. There's actually nothing below the water if you can't see it above it, just for performance reasons. And obviously, performance has been a very, very big part of why I've made this game. And that being said, it is a little stuttery when you get into actual combat, but the actual frame rate is still pretty high considering the hardware I'm using. Now obviously it's going to fucking fluctuate all the time from like 80 to 90 and sometimes dropping down to 60, but it stays pretty high, which is kind of the idea. Unfortunately, people just don't use this engine for this kind of thing. Like, most games are like some, I don't know, caveman, rebel scum simulator. You don't ever get to play as the army or shit, or if you often do, it's broken as hell. Just like the people on Big Fry's channel would show you. Which kind of gives it all a bad rep, but... Anyway, yeah, big destroyed towers, massive forests, there's a big city off there, off in the distance. And, yeah, this is kind of the idea with the game. is fantastically large places that you fight each other in, which is definitely the kind of shit that I love and grew up with the Xbox 360 and wanted more of. I'll probably also do like a nightmare surreal puzzle version of this, so you have level 1 and level 2 of the first game remastered. Wouldn't be too hard to make. If I just do one, I could easily do both and go from there with different variants and add gameplay stuff. But back to the topic of like in little environmental storytelling, as you can kind of see, over here is kind of 3 buildings leaning into Marcus's psyche from the first game, where you have one building that's bloodied and on fire, dreams of war and death, shitload of blood, and then one of these that's full of guns. He goes crazy, has the idea to start a war, and eventually you get over to the 3rd building, if I don't die. He gets trapped watching the big-ass TV, and, you know, what 1984 dystopian story is complete without a big fuck-off CRT TV? Much less, like, almost any horror game these days. Like, why the fuck do so many horror games use CRT televisions? Because they're fucking old? Oh my god, guys, it's an old-ass TV. Does it work? No. Okay, go get a new one. Problem solved. Anyway. I find I use them because they still fucking work. Those things, I imagine instead of shooting missiles at people, you could fucking shoot a big-ass TV that size at a tank, and the tank would blow up. Thing you could throw in a catapult, I imagine. But anyway, yeah. Big Santa Fe map here. I figured it'd be pretty cool to show off, and yeah, that's pretty much it for this devlog. Bunch of progress on a couple maps. Go through here in the editor, but yeah, you can see there's all the shit roughly what it would have looked like in the real world without the hallucination of Marcus going through. So this is a prequel to Rogue Planet 1 in that regard, where it's showing you the setup on how things got to the shitty state they ended up being. Which begs the question, how much of what Marcus was seeing was real and how much of it was a hallucination driven by him murdering his friend Kent? Well, you're going to find out throughout this game. Or maybe some things you won't. But, yeah. Pretty cool effects here. Ocean's pretty awesome. There's waves that ripple through, and yeah, as you can see, there's actually nothing down there, so don't get your hopes up too much on that. But, yeah, all the fighting here happens in the cage, here in the radar array. I've done some, like, little texture work here to try and kind of make it look more natural and dirty and fucked up. It's all under the cover of night. Although, as you can sort of tell, it's more like a Twilight, if anything. But yeah, cool little map tricks I did. One trick I borrowed from with this was Portal 2, where you have the giant, like, bush walls. If I were to take the camera up here, you would see that there's just a wall of trees. It's like one of the oldest tricks in the book, but it does make it, you know, like a lot more convincing when you're in the middle of basically like a cereal bowl. If you think of it yourself in the middle of a cereal bowl, then everything around you is just like fucking big. Well, then it looks a lot bigger than it really is. But if you look down, it looks pretty tiny, huh? But yeah, the way I also did the buildings was I got a texture of like city windows and then just put that shit in a box brush and then repeat it a few times, and there you go. But yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff I've been doing. I hope you like it. And that ought to do it for this developer commentary. Thanks for watching. I'm going to see if I can get the nightmare variant of this radar array done next and add some graveyards and zombies and maybe some Easter eggs and other fun stuff. But we'll see. I'll come up with something. Take care.